Governments in the global south, don't be in the shadow. Remember where you come from, the struggles of your people through their efforts and sacrifice and blood. This is the time to stand together for something better.
Israel lleva más de un año bombardeando Gaza, pero la mayoría de los gobiernos del mundo no han conseguido detener el genocidio o, en el caso de Estados Unidos, han bloqueado activamente la actuación de las Naciones Unidas. Estados Unidos ha vetado 4 veces una resolución de alto al fuego.
Maybe for some we have the wrong nationality, the wrong faith, the wrong skin color. But we are humans. Is there an international law for them, an international law for us? Do they have the right to kill and the only right we have is to die?
Mientras tanto, los departamentos de la ONU llevan meses criticando abiertamente las acciones de Israel. Francesca Albanese es la relatora especial asignada por la ONU para investigar las violaciones de los derechos humanos de los palestinos por parte de Israel.
Israel is an apartheid state which has been predicated upon the erasure of the Palestinians, the dehumanization of the Palestinians.
Desde su creación, la ONU ha estado inextricablemente vinculada a la cuestión de Palestina. También es un lugar donde los países pueden crear y codificar el derecho internacional.
International law is not just a promise, it's a set of obligations. They are universal. They apply to the powerful and the weak, to the rich and the poor, to the large and the small.
Pero el derecho internacional se siente desigual cuando se trata de detener el asalto de Israel contra el pueblo palestino. Entonces, ¿cuál fue exactamente el papel de la ONU en Palestina? ¿Cómo puede la comunidad del sur global repetir los éxitos anteriores para liberar al pueblo palestino? ¿Y qué nos depara el futuro si los países dejan de acatar el derecho internacional? Francesca Albanese escribió 2 informes este año sobre el genocidio de Israel en Gaza. Su primer informe se titulaba Anatomía de un genocidio.
I concluded that Israel had committed at least 3 acts of genocide, acts of killing, infliction of severe bodily and mental harm, and creations of conditions of life that would lead to the destruction of the Palestinians in Gaza in whole or in part, supported by genocidal intent.
7 meses después escribió un nuevo informe, El genocidio como borrado colonial.
This is a state endeavor committed intentionally by state officials, military, political leadership, religious leadership. So all the state apparatus has been complicit in the crimes that have been committed against the Palestinians.
Pero Albanese también quiere que la gente sepa que esto no es algo nuevo. Lleva ocurriendo desde la Nakba y la creación de Israel en 1948.
Since its very inception, Palestinians have been forcibly displaced, dispossessed, increasingly segregated and arrested and detained en masse. Their homes have been destroyed, their churches and mosques, their identity has become a liability. They've all become, through decades of Israeli unlawful occupation in what remains of Palestine. This is the kind of destruction of a people in whole or in part that happens in a context where one people wants to dominate, take the land and the resources from another people and push them away, because their very existence as indigenous people is an identity and legal threat to the occupier, to the colonizer.
Las Naciones Unidas fueron creadas en 1945 principalmente por las 5 grandes potencias vencedoras de la Segunda Guerra Mundial: la Unión Soviética, China, Francia, Reino Unido y Estados Unidos.
When the United Nations came into existence, it was constituted by 51 states. Most of the world was still colonized, meaning controlled land, resources and people, primarily by European countries.
Eso incluía a Palestina, que estaba bajo el control del Reino Unido, y las tensiones eran elevadas en la región tras la afluencia de inmigrantes judíos procedentes de Europa. 2 años después de la creación de la ONU, Reino Unido le encargó que resolviera qué debía ocurrir con Palestina. La ONU decidió dividir la tierra. El plan de la ONU habría dado a la minoría de colonos judíos, que solo representaba 1/3 de la población, la mayor parte de la tierra. La población autóctona árabe palestina, mucho más numerosa, obtendría una porción mucho menor, y Jerusalén sería una zona internacional. El plan fue rechazado por el pueblo palestino, pero Israel lo utilizó para declarar la independencia y, cuando estalló la guerra, para desplazar por la fuerza a casi 3/4 partes de la población palestina autóctona en lo que hoy se conoce como la Nakba o catástrofe.
Palestine is unique, but is not unique. It's unique in the sense that it's standing tall and resisting the erasure that a colonial mindset has brought upon them. But this is what in history has happened to other colonized people.
Mientras que la mayoría de los demás países se descolonizaban en el siglo XX, Israel hizo lo contrario. Tras la guerra de 1967, Israel colonizó toda la tierra palestina. Al día de hoy controla quién puede entrar y salir de los territorios ocupados, y cada año construye más asentamientos ilegales en territorio palestino.
And I know that this is painful to hear for Israelis and Israeli youth in particular who love Israel, and I don't blame them, but the point is that their country is imposing an apartheid regime on the Palestinians and is trying to erase the Palestinians from whatever remains of Palestine, which is what settler colonial powers in Australia, in Canada, in the United States have done with their indigenous people.
A medida que la descolonización se extendía por el mundo, la ONU también lo hacía. Ahora hay 193 Estados miembros, pero solo los 5 miembros permanentes del Consejo de Seguridad tienen derecho de veto.
It has been quite a journey for most people in the world to liberate themselves from the yoke of this control, which is not completely undone. There are still ties, economic, military ties, financial ties. The system has changed over time, and in my view, the major revolution came about with the decolonization, which gave impetus to a number of changes in the international system.
Albanese afirma que la ONU ha tenido éxito en el pasado a la hora de exigir responsabilidades a los países que cometen abusos contra los derechos humanos.
Think of the Apartheid Committee that was set up to deal with the dismantlement of apartheid South Africa, with the identification of what apartheid was, and then little by little with dismantlement of the apartheid regime there. Israel is an apartheid state which has been predicated upon the erasure of the Palestinians. We need to act, we need to coalesce, we need to remember that we decide how much we support or we do not support this system by also adhering to what are the goals of the Palestinian movement, which is acting like it was against apartheid South Africa to boycott, to divest and sanction the Israeli unlawful endeavor. And also, again, build coalition, build alliances.
Y parece que se están creando coaliciones. Recientemente Malasia, en asociación con otros países, propuso expulsar a Israel de las Naciones Unidas debido al genocidio.
Israel no longer belongs within the civilized community of nations.
It is not the first time that we see countries from the global south taking upon themselves the struggle to bring about justice. It's natural because they are more aware than us in Western societies about the risks of permanent control and disempowerment.
Francesca Albanese dice que puede entender por qué muchos jóvenes sienten que la ONU y la comunidad internacional no están haciendo lo suficiente.
Of course, the international justice system has dragged its feet. Of course, the International Criminal Court, the prosecutor should have acted before October 7, because it was already criminal enough, and the alleged perpetrators were already bragging about their crimes.
La Corte Penal Internacional, independientemente de la ONU, dictó finalmente órdenes de detención contra el primer ministro israelí Benjamin Netanyahu y el exministro de Defensa Yoav Gallant por sus crímenes de guerra en Gaza.
And now the UN face an unprecedented attack from Israel, the United Nations, whose premises and beneficiaries have been bombed, hit by Israeli weapons this year in Gaza, but also peacekeepers in Lebanon. And the Secretary General has been declared persona non grata, The General Assembly, the International Criminal Court, the Human Rights Council, everyone has been accused by Israel to be harboring terrorists or anti-Semites. This is unacceptable. This is why the test is how much the United Nations today manages to push back this hubris.
Albanese dice que esta es una oportunidad para contribuir al cambio.
The time is ripe for a revolution to make the system better. It's important that especially young people understand the potential of this moment to make the world a better place, because on the time it takes to make the realization and act, it depends how many people will be able to save in Gaza and in Palestine.
Albanese afirma que, en primer lugar, la gente de todo el mundo tiene que exigir responsabilidades a sus propios gobiernos.
Justice starts at home by making sure that those policymakers who have enabled, in this specific case, the genocide to be invoked, to unfold, to continue, they have to be held accountable. Businesses from your own country who have profited from the unlawful occupation, the apartheid, and now the genocide. Every time we purchase from these businesses, we participate a little bit in the maintenance of the unlawful occupation and apartheid regime.
Según Albanese, lo que la ONU proporciona es un foro en el que la gente puede debatir para prevenir conflictos, pero la ONU ha sido incapaz de hacerlo debido a la presión de Israel con el apoyo de Estados Unidos.
The United Nations doesn't exist as a virtuous system other than us. It sums up who we are as member states, as family of nations, with its goods and bads, like with its setbacks and virtues. So we shouldn't romanticize or idealize what the United Nations is. However, this is a place where discussions on how to prevent conflict, how to ensure peace and stability for everyone, how to advance equality and freedom for everyone is to be held and then reflected into international policies.
Aunque no haya sido capaz de detener el genocidio, Albanese afirma que no hay que pasar por alto los éxitos anteriores de la ONU.
It has allowed developing countries, global south countries, to liberate themselves and to make the system a little bit better. Let's build on this and make the system even better, because I'm really afraid of what we might be facing, lacking that is the return to a place of lawlessness where might make right, and we don't need to go there.
Albanese dice que su mensaje a los líderes occidentales no ha cambiado desde octubre de 2023.
The slaughtering of children after children after children. I mean, how many other children need to die before our political leaders come to senses? Do the right thing. Start by abiding by international law. Lead your country into a virtuous path.